Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kendra, the Divine Purpose Mentor, and happy Lionsgate Portal. 8-8 signals the most potent and powerful day of the Lionsgate Portal. And I woke up this morning with all of your questions in my head, and one of the very first things I heard was, what is an activation? What does it feel like? How do I know that this is what is happening? Or am I just going crazy? So activations can look differently for different people. And it's important as we are all waking up that we understand the difference, because we have been socialized in a society that tells us that when we are having spiritual awakenings, that something is wrong with us and that we should probably seek medical attention. But this couldn't be more further from the truth. It's actually that stigma that something is wrong with you that causes your frequency to drop down into the lower dimensions, where you are interacting with lower dimensional beings and thought forms. And that is why things like demonic possessions happen, and why people who have been diagnosed schizophrenic that have that stigma on them are connecting with beings that are telling them to hurt themselves or other people. So I just want you to understand that if we were living in our natural state as tribal and indigenous cultures do, when a child is about 13, they start to activate certain abilities. And when they have the gift of prophecy, or they are a shaman, an elder comes to mentor them, and they take them out of the specific family, and they go into intense training, and they are groomed and mentored in a way that is it caretakes their abilities and their gifts. And this second phase of our evolution, we are getting back to our natural state of being. We are witnessing that there's nothing that has gone wrong with any of us. Even if we can look at something and think that it's wrong, it's only because we've been socialized to all be the same, out of fear that if we are different, then we are not controllable, or if we are different, we can't connect. And with the response that the last video received, I know that you guys are all ready to stop having to pretend to be a certain way in order to fit into society and to have connections. And I know most of us have experienced just completely opting out of society. It's like, if you're going to force me to be in this box, then I just will take myself out completely. And I've received so many emails, and I've spent the last day and a half answering every single email. And I want to give you all specific guidance on what the next step is, and how to proceed going forward. And I never want to be the kind of teacher that isn't accessible to everyone, no matter what your situation is or your circumstances. And my tribe is gathering. They are on their way to me now. And it's overwhelming for me to have so many balls up in the air. When I receive messages, I am just supposed to give them. But when I'm worried about this and that, and I have so many roles, as we all do, to maintain on a daily basis, it's impossible. So somebody is stepping in and going to take care of the emails that are coming in. So I just wanted to make this announcement so you guys know that it's somebody that is on my team, and they're going to direct you to how I can best serve you. And if it's a specific question, know that if you ask, in an email, it will be answered in a video if you can't afford to do a session. If you're just looking for what is my next step, then I suggest booking a discovery session so we can really sit down and you can talk one-on-one with me, and I can guide you in the best vibrational alignment for you specifically. If you guys are wanting to schedule meetups and you're wanting to bring groups together, if that feels like it's your calling, then I suggest that you start to see where your gifts are. If your gifts are to connect with venues, or to, if you have like a great space and you just want to invite me or others, and know that when this comes, like, it doesn't come with like a lot of work or a lot of force. You just have to ground it into that knowing of what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to give. And I've been seeing very specific synchronicities in the way in which the emails have been written by all of you. Most of you guys have said, like, I just want you to know that I don't normally reach out to any other YouTubers, so this is very rare for me. And that makes me so happy, because that means that you felt that feeling of that knowing inside of you. And I know that feeling very well, because when I get that, I reach out. I don't question it. And people often tell me, like, how are you connected with, so many different types of people that most people think that they're so separate from, that they don't even try to connect. But I've never had that perception. So it doesn't even seem like a thing for me to reach out to a spiritual teacher or to a celebrity. And it's, yeah, so there's the way that I receive information, it's like when you are focused on, when you're connecting with me on a video and you feel like I'm speaking directly to you, it's because I truly am, because you have a thought or a question, or you're connecting with me at Heart Center, and I feel you, I see you, I hear that thought come through. And in the beginning, it was very confusing for me, because I've always been like this. And so I would give someone a hug and get like a full download of what they're going through at the time. And it doesn't come through like I can see everything, but it's more of a feeling inside of my being. I don't see it as separate from me. So it was very confusing in the beginning, because I would think that these thoughts, feelings, and emotions were my own, and not that I was tapping into someone else's, because I've never seen separation. I've never felt that disconnect until somebody has literally given me that push away energy. And that is something that has also caused me pain, because I've always felt that energy. And so I would be like, why did you just do that? I just felt you push me away. And they'd be like, I didn't push you away. I'm right here. So all of us that are starseeds, sensitive people, spiritual people that have just been a little bit different than the, let's just say, the mainstream collective of programming, we have felt like it must be us, because if you have 10 people in a room and you're the only one that is picking up on a specific energy, or feeling like everyone in the room is against you, or whatever the case may be, and everybody else is just looking at you like you are so emotional or you're just crazy, like it's very, this world that we live in is very dense, and it's not been easy for any of us. And so as I went to Oregon this last weekend to a workshop and to see my tribe, it was a very, very specific chaotic energy beforehand as we all met up. But on the last day, like, we all had this feeling inside of us, like we are so done. We are so done doing it the way we have been doing all by ourselves. It is impossible for us to live, to maintain a job, to take care of the kids, to have a household, to also have connections, and just all of the roles that we have been told that we need to obtain in order to survive. We are all just like gasping for air coming out of, waves in the ocean, and we're like, we don't have any more energy to fight any longer. We can't do it the way we've been doing. And so many of your emails that have come through and the connections is just like, yeah, I'm here with you, but like, I don't have anything to give. Like, I am just at my breaking point, and I need a light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to tell you that that's exactly where you need to be, because it isn't until we hit rock bottom that we are able to release that fear of falling. Because often when we pretend to ourselves that we've got it all together, and we've got all these balls up in the air, and we're doing a pretty good job juggling them, and maybe one falls down, but we pick it back up. At this point, it's like we have collectively hit that rock bottom where all of the balls have dropped. And I know that it's scary, because what you thought you were going towards is no longer there. And so there's a lot of uncertainty. But I just want to remind you that the reason why it had to be this way, the reason why it is happening in this way, is so that you can release your fear, so that you no longer keep holding on to the tower as it's falling, and that you can have the hands that are reaching out to pull you back up onto your feet and remind you that this is the path that we all chose here together. I think it Sorry about that, guys. My phone started ringing, and normally I would stop the video or the audio. And that's another thing. My guides have been so specific that these past few weeks that I'm just supposed to record my voice and not be in front of the camera. And I've noticed that other channels have been getting this message as well. So it's just validation and confirmation. But I do believe that phone call just came to get me back on track. And because I started this video talking about what is an activation. So, like I said, I went to Oregon this weekend, and there was a gathering with the tribe, and at the end, when we are all saying goodbye, I always get these visions about, standing in a circle and holding hands and doing some type of, not chanting, but allowing the guidance to just come through on anchoring in the light and installing pillars of light. And I always feel like really awkward when I'm around people to be like, hey guys, can you help me install this pillar of light real quick? Like, we just have to hold hands in a circle, and don't mind me, whatever's going to come out of my mouth, because So I just got out of my own way, and I was just like, hey, I know this is probably pretty weird, but would you guys all mind holding hands with me real quick? I didn't know what was going to come through, but we all held hands and we started in one point of the circle, and my guides told me that I needed to walk once and then just feel where the balance was, where I was specifically supposed to be in that circle. And then I just allowed what came through to be spoke through my mouth. And then we anchored in the light together, and we all came in for a group hug. And that was the minute of activation for me. It was like it started the day before and it completed in that moment. And then what I say would be called, like, it's like whatever is not of vibrational resonance to that upgrade, it needs to be like shaken out of you. And this can be, but you can also experience an upgrade to where you've been holding your vibration lower than the vibration of the upgrade. So the upgrade comes and it feels like relief. It feels like bliss. It feels like just absolute, you're just in this like peaceful state, and you're just like, yes, like this is that good, like I love this energy. Or it comes in the form of vibrating you up so high and you're like, ugh, and then you're just like, bah, like got to get the energy out of you. And so I know that it's probably, like, I know that it's uncomfortable for me to have people around me if it comes out in like all of the lower densities coming out of me, because I don't want to project that upon anyone. And I don't, like, I am in my own little world. But one of my friends was able to hold space, and I asked him specifically not to look at me, but because my body needed to move and it needed to be, I mean, it was like contorting, and it probably looked like seizures, but I'm trying not to judge my experience, because I know it was exactly what was needed. And I know that other people might not understand, and they might want to judge because they're afraid of what they're seeing. And so it is sometimes safer, if you don't have someone that can hold that strong, safe space without judgment, to have those upgrades be, taking place alone, if you feel like you can't control the energy that's bursting out of you. But it's important for you to get that out of you. So sometimes I have to dance and move, or sometimes I have to scream, and I have to get really angry and just blurt out every single thing that is causing me to feel angry, but not lash out at other people. So it's a very specific direction of energy and containment of that energy, and then release. And you can also allow yourself to do like a burn ceremony, or light a candle. And it's just important that as those rises of bursts are coming out, that you don't try and go, oh, this is weird, and I shouldn't be acting like this, or judge your experience in any way, because that really causes us to, then that energy gets stuck in our body, and then we get sick. So it doesn't benefit anyone for us to suppress it. So just allow it to get out of you. Like, do whatever you need to do. Like, it's perfectly okay. Like, nobody's here to judge you, and people only judge what, they can only see you as much as they can see themselves. So it's just, when somebody judges you, know that they're just afraid. So if you go with compassion and understanding after you have that upgrade, and you explain what it is that you're experiencing, but also have compassion for and understanding for how that was probably scary for them to witness. But I see a lot of the times, like, people will be like, oh my gosh, like I had this like breakdown, and it really scared me, and it made me feel like I don't know, what the heck is going on inside of me. And I'm like, oh no, that was just this. And it's just so It's so innocent and pure, and we have to stop being so afraid of ourselves, because that's when the shadows grow and grow, and that's when we are doing things unconsciously, and that's the scary part. So also I wanted to talk about meetups for our groups, and I invite you that if you have a desire to host or hold a gathering or a workshop or seminar, and you would like me and other teachers and speakers to come and join you, and we will come. Just start. I just heard. Just build it and they will come. Because it's impossible for us to do it all by ourselves. And if you are wanting to work and speak one-on-one with me, if you're looking for, what is it? I just need some direction. I suggest booking a discovery session with me. You can do that through my website under classes and services, and just book a discovery session. If you know something specific that is blocking you or causing you physical pain or an illness or an ailment, I would book a metaphysical anatomy healing session, and we can just jump right in. I have healed myself from lupus, and I can teach you how to do the same, along with lots of other things. But also, I want you guys to... No, not I want you guys. Sorry. This message about our spiritual gifts not being looked at as like, when we're doing so much work internally and with the collective, like I hear the collective cries and calls, and then I make these videos. And I've had a lot of people that, I guess not a lot of people, that's my own judgment, but people that have said like, who are you talking to? And are these messages just for you? And this is just one person specifically, and I listen to the messages myself, and I gain something more from them every time I listen, because this isn't about me. This is about messages that are coming through me, and there's not one person on this planet that knows everything or that has all of the answers. And I know that we are all just looking for that one person, or that one, specific way in which we can just flip a switch and everything's going to be better. But we are the change that we are looking to see in the world. And it takes us coming all together and finding our gifts. And I want you to understand that if you're lost, you have every right to feel lost, because you've been taught to fit in a box that's never going to work for you. And you've been taught that your spiritual gifts, they don't matter, and they do matter. I know that it was a change of perception in seeing a spiritual teacher that was like me, that said, I am like this, and I use this to help the world. And I went, holy shit, this isn't a disability? Like, I can actually just stop resisting it? Wow. And now it's not like it's my own thought. I actually sit back and I witness how these things that have been called a disability, like sensory integration disorder, and the fact that I am extrasensory, that I see music, and that I speak in frequency, and all of these things that I thought, that I'm connecting with people's loved ones. And my first day of kindergarten, I was connecting with my teacher's grandfather, and she was freaked out, and I got sent to the principal's office. It's like, there's so much shame programming on this planet for being different, when we chose to be a specific way that is just a little bit different, so that we could be the expansion, and so that we could be the teachers. And it's very unfortunate that we have gone through life and been shamed for the greatest gifts that we have. But it's just time to switch that perception in our own minds, our judgment about ourselves, so that we can start to witness ourselves and see our gifts and know that there is no judgment or there is nothing wrong with you for searching and seeking mentors and teachers. Because just as we did with Indigenous cultures and our natural tribal roots, it's like we looked at a child as a lotus flower and we watched it bloom, and we nurtured and caretaked for those specific abilities and gifts, and we watched it and witnessed it unfold, and we gave it all the nutrients that it needed in order to grow. And that is what we have to start doing with ourselves first, and then to the world. So there's not an overnight quick fix that's going to make everything better. It's a process. But I promise you that the process of learning about yourself and loving yourself is a lot better feeling. It's like that good energy versus trying to separate and fragment off aspects of ourselves. And the reason why it's so hard to make a decision sometimes is because we have all of these fractures and fragments of our consciousness that are going in different directions. So when you're feeling that resistance, the best thing to do is to address the resistance itself, to feel into that. What is that resistance needing? And to find a third option between the part of you that is resisting a change and the part of you that is wanting that change. So that you can find that middle ground, so that it's not you having to sacrifice a part of yourself in order to do or be or have this other thing. And that's the same thing we have to do in relationships. I mean, we've been socialized to have relationships and to keep all of the shadows, back, to pretend like we don't want to get married. If that's something, if we're going on a first date, we're taught as females, oh, don't sound like you're too needy or that you are too serious. And that's bullshit, because that leads us to get in relationships with people that are completely incompatible with us. And then you're in this miserable 5-year relationship where you're both hating each other. And it's not about the other person being wrong or bad. It's just they are not for you. You guys are not compatible. And so if we sat down on a first date and said, hey, look, this is what my life looks like. This is what I am. This is what my priorities are. And this is what I would like out of a partner. How about you? And they said, this is X, Y, and Z. And if that was incongruent, then you would know whether or not that partner was for you. So if you guys are feeling like you guys want to work intensively with me for a year and join the Self-Love Mastery Program, I invite you all to come and join me, because the transformation that you can make in a year with someone that is guiding you and mentoring you, that is specific for you. I mean, the only reason why I offer that is because that is what came into my life that offered me the most expansion. And that is what I desire to offer to all of you. And I understand that everybody's at a different financial, level at their life, and it's not for everyone. And so if you're wanting just some specific guidance and you want to sit down for an hour or 45 minutes with me, then book a metaphysical anatomy healing session or book a discovery session. But if you don't have the money, and you still have those questions and you need support and guidance, then send me an email, ask it in the form of a question, and then be open to receiving. Be listening for when that message and that guidance comes through on a video, because you can be sure that I will answer each and every one of you. So this is Kendra, the Divine Purpose Mentor. You guys can reach me at kendradivinepurposementor.com, and you can send me an email at info@kendradivinepurposementor.com. And if you guys could, if it's just a specific question for a video, if you could put that in the description of your email so that my team can file through these emails and know which area to direct their focus. And if you are just looking at booking a session or wanting to join a class and you don't know which one to book, then they can help direct you towards the one that is specific and going to meet your needs and be the most expansion that you can get out of that time together. Also, if you're a way shower and you want to start getting together and in a group call, I've been asked to bring back the Conscious Connections Council, which we meet every Sunday night, and we haven't met for a few months, but I've been called by my higher guidance, and then it was confirmed in an email asking, where we could all meet, and if you're wanting to bring your gifts to the table and see how we can all put our puzzle pieces together, then I'm hesitant to give us a specific date because I want to make sure that all of the puzzle pieces are in sync, but I am feeling called to bring it back this Sunday. So we meet on Sunday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you guys would like a link to that group, just send me an email, and again, make sure that you clearly describe that you want that link for the Conscious Connections Council group meeting on Sunday. All right, I love you all. I'll see you guys again probably tomorrow. Have a good night.